this cake just may get me canceled. Birthday cake on a budget. The last few years on social media, I have done dozens of videos showing people how to elevate a box cake mix. Today, I'm doing an experiment. I'm making 2 box cake mixes, one with just water and one with minimal ingredients. According to the box directions, we're looking for 1 cup of water, 3 eggs, and 1/3 cup of vegetable oil. I'm adding 1 cup of water, and that's it. You don't even need a hand mixer to do this. You could mix this with a spoon. I am going to use my hand mixer though and get this mixed together. It looks like cake mix. For the purpose of this experiment, I'm going to keep both box cake mixes separate. This one is going to be made into cupcakes. I'm doubtful I'm going to get 12 cupcakes out of it, but I will get as many as I can. 8 cupcakes. I'm going to set these to the side and we're going to make another cake. Exact same brand of boxed white cake mix. We're still going to start with adding the 1 cup of water. The box says we need 1/3 of a cup of oil. Now, perhaps you don't have oil and you don't have butter, but you do have margarine. You could use oil, butter, or margarine for that fat content. I'm also not using 1/3 of a cup. That is about 1 tablespoon. I'm going to melt this in the microwave. It may even be less than a tablespoon. The box says 3 eggs. We know how expensive eggs are, and they are a luxury item. If you don't have eggs, perhaps you may have mayonnaise. You may have sour cream, yogurt, applesauce. All of those would be great substitutions for eggs. I'm just going to use a scoop of mayo, maybe 1/4 of a cup. That would be the equivalent of 1 egg. Looks the same as the last one. This one is going into an 8-inch pan to keep both of these concoctions separate. Gone are the days of needing 2 8-inch cake pans for a box cake mix. Even if I had added all of the required ingredients, this just doesn't even come halfway. These are both headed into the oven at 350 degrees until a toothpick comes out clean. You can also use a can of soft drink to make a cake without the eggs, oil, and butter, all those extra ingredients. What I'm really trying to showcase here is to not be held back and avoid making that box cake mix because you don't have the exact ingredients that is requested on the back of the box. Looks like a normal cake. Sadly, I did not catch that on camera of half of the cake coming out and falling apart. I'm not sure what happened. As you can see, it definitely didn't stick to the pan. We're gonna figure this out. I'm still going to make a cake with this somehow. I'm gonna try and flatten and repurpose all of these crummy pieces that were on the bottom of the pan. And let's try and transfer this as best we can. It is crumbly and fresh and moist, and it tastes delicious. We've got to ice the birthday cake. A jar of pre-made frosting is far cheaper than having to buy all of the ingredients you need to make the frosting. So we're going to level up this jar of frosting with no additional ingredients, just by getting it out of the jar and getting the mixer to it. If you don't have a hand mixer, I've heard of people popping it in the microwave as well, but you could also use a spoon or a fork and just kind of work it to try and get a thicker volume out of that icing. This is how it looks before I get the mixer to it. I'm gonna mix for about 60 seconds and I'll show you the results. It increases the volume and it makes it far smoother, easier to spread. Huge improvement. This icing won't be enough to cover my pitiful cake as well as all of the cupcakes. So I'm just gonna ice 1 cupcake for now, just to do a taste test. The cupcakes were the one that I just added water. People often ask me about kitchen fails. I don't look at anything as a kitchen fail, okay? If this were someone's real experience and they ruined the only cake that they had to make for a birthday, you have to be creative and you have to make it work. It's really not that bad. It's still a cake underneath all of this mess. We're covering it in icing anyway. Cutting a piece of this cake is going to be the biggest challenge. Fingers crossed. Let's just see if I can get a piece. I mean, look, it's not that bad. We have 2 taste tests here to do. I've already tasted both, and I know that they are both winners. Let's just look inside. There was nothing added to this cake mix except water. That is light, fluffy, and delicious like cake should be. The next cake where we added a little bit of margarine and some mayo. Equally delicious, and I have to tell you, I don't see any difference in the 2 of these. This is no better than this that just had water added. They are both equally delicious birthday cakes. If all you have is that box cake mix, you don't even have an electric mixer, you can still have cake. Everybody deserves a cake on their birthday.